Cue intro music. Hey, everybody. My name is Adam G. Known by many names. Dad, asshole, chef, Geis, AJ. But you can just call me whatever you want, to be honest. Other than Adam, not really into it, but hey, that's my government, so what are you going to do? I bet you're all wondering what you're listening to. I'm questioning that myself as I speak. But this is something that I've always wanted to do. So go easy on me. I'm taking a stab at it. They will get better as I go, I promise. There is absolutely going to be technical difficulties. I am terrible at all of this stuff, but hey, I'm giving it a shot. So welcome to Mish Mosh. What is Mish Mosh? Mish Mosh is just a term for kind of a little bit of everything. Mish Mosh is actually what I grew up calling everything bagel. We called the Mish Mosh bagels because it was a little bit of everything. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. But yeah, I will kind of dive into it later. What the first pod's going to be about. Hopefully there will be several of these. Hopefully I have the time and the effort. This has been a long time coming. And for those of you that know me, I'm a huge procrastinator. So I just kept putting it off and, this happened, that happened, and whatever else you want to imagine in between. But finally I just said, hey, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And so there'll be food and music. I'll probably have Big Fat Paulie on for some nerdy shit. There'll be things that are appropriate, things that are very inappropriate. I would just assume, knowing myself. And so, yeah, that's why it's kind of mishmash. So it'll be me from the start to where I'm at now. And then obviously future endeavors, because as I said, you guys will kind of get to know who I am and what I'm all about. This really is an introductory. So this will be really what the pod's about and also who I am. I think there is a huge difference between who you are and what you are. I think people will go like, who are you? And they go, father of two, guilty. And that's what you are, bud. That's not who you are, because who you are is an individual. What you are could be a collective group effort. It could be things that have happened to you in your life. It could be what you are is your surroundings. Who you are is really kind of your foundations. And I guarantee there's a bunch of people out there that are going to go, yeah, that's Adam or Geis or AJ, if you know me as AJ. But and then there's also going to be people out there. I mean, there's only going to be like one person that listens to it, so it'll probably be Charlie. So, but there'll also be people out there that they'll go, nah, that's not Adam, or that's not Chef, or that's not whatever version they thought they met of me, whether it be professional, whether it be, casual. But yeah, I took notes. So you'll see me look over to my right, probably your left, if it's a mirrored image. Again, not the smartest guy. Not the best with technology. But so you'll see me look over. I took some notes because I'm a professional, damn it. But yeah, this segment, this will be kind of who you are. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to introduce myself before I went into any topics. And you can kind of see where my brain kind of goes. So who are you? I think sometimes you look in the mirror, you stare at your phone, or whatever you do, watch your shows, whatever you're doing, and you might ponder kind of like, does this shape me? Does this not? But I think a lot about who I am, usually late at night when I can't sleep, because I don't know. I just haven't been able to sleep ever. So I would start off with, I think the first and foremost, if you said, who am I? I'm a dreamer. If you've ever read the book or seen the movie Life of Walter Mitty, that's kind of who I am. And I think a large part of that is also because I have severe ADD. And so a lot of the times I could be staring you dead in the eyes and I could be thinking about me sitting down at the Conan show being interviewed by Conan. I don't know what he would ask me, but that's where my head kind of goes. And so I'm just a dreamer in general. I never lost that edge as a kid. My mom always kind of let me be the dreamer and encouraged it until I was probably a little bit past 13, 14, and I was still a dreamer and had no concept of the world, and it probably absolutely drove her crazy. But she always kind of let me be that person. When I was little, we would look at picture books, and she would tell me to tell her a story instead of her telling me the story all the time. And so I have kind of carried that attitude with me my entire life, just being a dreamer. When I'm driving in a car, when I'm unfortunately in a meeting and it's boring, probably I'll rant on this podcast and you'll be like, he didn't actually talk about anything. That will probably because I'm lost somewhere in my own mind. But really, I think that is one of the biggest things that defines me. I try to look at the positive things in life. I try to smile all the time. I try to be the thermostat instead of the thermometer. So I'm trying to set the temperature of my life instead of letting those around me kind of affect me. Kim, if you're watching this, I know you just went, hell yeah. So yeah, that's me. I'm a dreamer. I hope you dream. I dare you to dream. I encourage others around me to dream. And I think being someone that is a dreamer, when you see the pessimist or when you see the down to earth type people, it doesn't discourage you. But I think just in general, you're like, that guy's not a dreamer. He, she, they can't imagine things, and my imagination runs wild. I love scary movies. And I could watch the same scary movie 1,000 times and my heart still beats because I just imagine being there and being in the situation. That goes with everything. Comedy is the same thing. I love to laugh. I think everyone that maybe listens to this other than Charlie, they know that I love to laugh and just have a great time. But be a dreamer. Be a dreamer. Have big dreams. Go get dreams. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You don't get them. At least you have them. At least it gives you that feeling, and it gives you that joy. So, dare you to dream. The next is probably something that led me to what I am instead of just who I am. I'm a big art enthusiast. I always tell people I'm an artist, but my art is on a plate. For those of you that don't know, I've made a life in the kitchens cooking. And so that is not actually the biggest driver for my love of art. I'm actually a huge music fan. I think that music is the thing that makes the world go round. I think it was Jimi Hendrix said it's the only thing in the world that when it hits you, you feel no pain. Although I would debate that, because every time I listen to a song for Mama by Boyz II Men, I shed a tear for sure. Sometimes when I miss the kids, I listen to sad songs like Butterfly Kisses. And then there's other times where I want to listen to things like Dave Matthews. And you guys all just went, Dave Matthews, he sucks. He went up in the shit. But Dave was a huge part of my childhood. One of my first concerts was Dave. My very first concert, my mom took me, I think I was 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly what age, but she took me. Color Me Bad opened for Paula Abdul. and it was absolutely incredible. I fell in love with live music right then and there. They just the crowd, the energy, how everybody was singing along, how the dancing, which I'll get into later as well, but just in general, just a great show that I'll always remember. And plus, no one, I bet, on this call or on this pod that is watching, was like, "Color Me Bad." I'm like, oh yeah, baby, Color Me Bad. So music, I think, does hit you. And I think it changes your mood. I think it kind of shapes who you are. I I was born in '85, and so a big part of me. I grew up. The first album I ever bought was Green Day Dookie. So if that has any resonation with anybody else out there. But yeah, Green Day Dookie, and I fell in love with kind of that hard rock, indie, whatever you want to call it now, but we only called it rock and roll or alternative. There were only two. If it was in country or rap, it was alternative or rock. Now there's like 18 genres of every type, but I listened to Pearl Jam most of my young career in growing up, and I have an older brother who loved rap, not hip hop. Let's distinguish this. This was the 90s. We didn't have hip hop yet. This was rap. Hip hop was pop, or it was R&B. We are talking rap. We are talking Liquid Swords. We are talking Enter the 36 Chambers. We are talking Illmatic, Stillmatic. We are talking Bone Thugs and Harmony. East 1999. We are talking Mobb Deep. We are talking real rap. We're not talking this bullshit now, and I want to say that with emphasis, bullshit now, because that is what I think rap is now. I know that makes me sound really old, but I think as of recent, I'll say recent, but really, what's the last real great rap group that came out, right? And then I'll put them against any Outkast album, and Big Boy and Andre 3000 are just gonna shit on them 100%. These are the Tupac and Biggie days when it was actually beef, but he influenced me. I think the first album Uncle Aaron bought me was, I want to say it was Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z. And then that quickly transitioned into Volume 2, which is still one of the best rap albums, I think, of all time. Volume number 2. I'd probably put that up there with, I don't know, Liquid Swords. I'm a big Wu fan. Logan got to experience, my son Logan, he got to experience that, 2 months ago? I took him to a Wu-Tang concert. Had a ball. Absolutely had a ball. Run the Jewels open for him. He actually liked Run the Jewels better, which Run the Jewels is great, but come on. Method? Really? Come on. So, yeah, that's, I think, between the rock, really growing up, and sticking it to the man, and then kind of the aggressiveness that rap is and was, just really kind of shaped me. You could roll a J to any of the music I used to listen to. So country, no, you missed me on country. A bunch of this other shit, probably not. I'd say my favorite artist of all time, Michael. And I will explain why. But MJ is the king of pop. He had his own army. I know my tattoo didn't age well with Finding Neverland coming out, but hey, listen, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So my art enthusiasm goes well beyond music, just because I love art in all mediums. Tattoos, big tattoo guy. I think it. I don't think you have to get a tattoo. Oh, it's so meaningful and everything has to be meaningful. I think some can just be fun. I love tattoos where it's like your belly button and it's the cat's butthole and it's the cat looking at you. It's hilarious. Doesn't have to have a deep meaning, but some that you do get that have a deep meaning, those are great too. But just in general, not a big black and gray guy. For those of you that know me, I'm pretty colorful. My kids are pretty colorful. We're pretty wild. We're a pretty wild bunch. I wouldn't use the word reserved to describe any of us. Maybe Logan might be a little reserved at times, but I think we just went to a birthday party, and there were some kids there, but it was a lot of adults, and I didn't see Logan for like, I don't know, it was like 30 minutes, and I was like, has anyone seen my son? My girls were in the pool, but it's like, has anyone seen my son? Where, is he here? Where did he go? And he was just chilling. He was just hanging out with everybody. So that was very much me. I always tell my kids, we always had this rule in Cleveland. It was, I don't know, it was weird. It was like, oh, you don't park in the driveways. You don't park in the drive. I parked in every driveway. And it used to piss off all of my friends' parents. Because they'd have to, but this was before cell phones, kids, and they'd have to go into the house and get me to move my car. And they probably thought like, oh, I got him. He's going to definitely like not park in the drive. No, I just waited for them to pull in and I parked in the driveway. But I always tell my kids, I was pretty wild growing up. I was pretty irresponsible, but I was always welcomed at all of my friends' house because I was just loved, and it was just me. It was just me. So I think as long as you're respectful, and you're really nice and you're funny, people will let you get away with murder. So that's just my take. I would say the next on my list is I am a foodie hater. I hate people that call themselves foodie. Oh, I'm such a foodie. I'm like, why? Because you had antipasta yesterday? Like at an Italian restaurant? Oh, watch out, brother. You're crazy. Foodies, that term has destroyed, I think, things like Yelp, and foodies, and kind of that cyberbully has just absolutely destroyed restaurants in general. And I could probably talk about this topic for 5 days, and I won't, but I think that restaurateurs, for a while, they lost their backbone, and it was because everyone and their brother and mother and sister and wife were a foodie, and they have a Yelp account, and they were going to write a review, and it's like, dude, if the steak wasn't cooked right, just fucking tell them. And if you don't like how they responded, just leave, right? Just get the hell out. You just lost the customer. Now it's like, oh my God, my steak was overcooked, and then they got me a new steak, and I didn't love that one. But maybe you're just a piece of shit. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you suck. But that power that restaurateurs have actually given to the public and telling them is just absurd to me. If something sucks, don't come back. If the cashier was rude, tell the manager or just leave. Like, who gives a shit? Go to a different Chick-fil-A then. Go to a different Whataburger. Who cares? But yeah, I am a foodie hater, if you can tell. But I love food. I have made my life in it. It has opened up a wild amount of doors. It has introduced me to some pretty incredible people. Food is how I met Jess, and we have 3 awesome kids. And I will always love this industry. There are days where I question whether I still want to be in it. And not even because of the guests anymore. It's really the team members. And I know this makes you sound even older. But God, dude, these 19-year-old guys, that gals, whatever they are, walk into the restaurant. And it's like, I'm a second year in culinary school and I'm a grill cook. And you're like, are you? Sounds to me like you're a dishwasher, bud. And that the entitlement that gives them, you're a sushi chef, and most of the sushi chefs spend years, I'll repeat it, years learning how to just make the rice. So if you think just because you graduated culinary school or you've worked in kitchens for 5 years and all of a sudden now I'm the chef or I'm this, I'm that, not. Everyone starts in the mailroom. The dish pit is our mailroom. Get in the dish pit, earn your keep, do a great job, be a team player, be coachable, have a great attitude, be your own thermostat instead of the thermometer, and work your way up. And it happens quick. I mean, you can definitely do the right thing, and you can grow quickly in restaurants. I think one of the reasons I really loved it so much was the restaurants, man. They just, first off, there's goofballs everywhere. We don't work in an office. We don't work 9 to 5s, which now kicks you in the ass kind of as an adult. But, it's like you could work with a girl, her mom is a lawyer and she just loves food. So she's in the restaurant, or you could work next to an ex-con that can't get a job anywhere else, and so they work at the restaurant. I mean, it's so wild. The restaurant industry is so wild. There's drugs everywhere. There's big money being made everywhere. There's bartenders that don't save a dime and they spend every penny they have. We in Arizona, I think we went out for 38 days straight. I was a cook. I didn't pay for anything. It was all on the bartenders and servers that took me out. It was awesome. But at like day 15, I gave up. I was like, I'm done. I'm done drinking for a little bit. Like it was just crazy. But I still went out and had a good time. But I was like, God, the partying just, it can never stop, which is a dangerous double-edged sword, because it's fun, but if you carry it on too long, you're in some sad shape as you kind of grow older. But just in general, the restaurant industry has just made me who I am, and so I'll always be grateful for the people I've met along the way. That's managers at Chipotle, that's managers at the Italian spots I've worked at. I was a corporate chef, had a great boss there, taught me a lot about food. Met a regional there, taught me a lot about life. So it's an interesting world to enter. We try to push our kids away from it just because we know how hard it is. But I don't know. I've got friends that are in the medical field that are miserable, and I've got friends that are teachers that are miserable. I mean, life is what you make it. And so it's not a bad industry. It's not one for the weak. That is for sure. But it's a hell of a ride when you kind of look back on your career, and think to yourself, like, holy shit, we did a lot of weird stuff. The next in my artistic enthusiast venture, I would say, I call it an illusionist believer. Listen, everyone knows magic is magic. That's why they call it magic. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, man, how do you do that? How'd she do that? What happened? I was watching it the whole time. And I know, the hands are quicker than the eye, yada, yada, so on and so forth. Trust me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I like to believe in magic. I think there's magic everywhere. If you don't believe in magic, take your kids to Disneyland, because you will put up with more than you could ever imagine. Crying, naps, complaining, everything's expensive, but it is burned in my mind. And I never thought I could have, more core memories, without big events, without big events in my life, right? Having kids, big event, getting married, that's a big event, all these things, right? Big events, core memories. But I will never forget the time that we were at Disney and I saw my kids just watch the fireworks show at Magic Kingdom. And I would pay 10 times over, and I would listen to complaining 1,000 times over. I mean, we do anyways, but I would listen to that 1,000 times over for that memory again. And so there's magic everywhere. You just got to go find it, right? If you're a sad sack, or I don't know, you're just a complete waste of space, and you're not a believer, hey, that's on you. But, people find magic walking the hillside of Texas. I know they do, because they've told me about it. And there's people that romanticize about countries that they've never been to. I'm guilty of that. I love the Amalfi Coast. I don't know what it is. I look at videos. The Amalfi, I romanticize about the Amalfi Coast. Never been there. Dying to get there. But there's other people that they have that same feeling when they talk about certain places. Even for a while there, when I moved out of Cleveland, I kind of hated it. I shat on it a lot, but I don't know. I always think about going back and what it would be like, but I don't know. I don't know if that place is for me anymore. My home is here in Texas. We love it. For the most part, we did really well here. So Cleveland might have to wait, but that just go find your magic. Don't be a Debbie Downer. It's out there. It's out there for everyone. Go find it. Find yours. Make it yours. The next two things. It kind of couples. This next one kind of couples with an illusionist believer. And that is, I'm a salsa watcher. Salsa is obviously a pun because I'm a cook, but it is dancing. My two favorite forms of entertainment are dancing and sword fighting, which is probably why I love Star Wars so much, because lightsabers are not real. So that's part of the magic. So kind of that magic and the dancing. Sword fight is kind of dancing, in my opinion. So those are two of my favorite forms of entertainment. So I love magic and kind of that sword fight dance. But I just love dancing in general. My kids have the groove with them. I got pretty good rhythm, I think. I'm not by any means a dancer. This doesn't dance very well. But I do love watching it, and I love music that makes you move, which is probably due to the fact that I grew up being a huge Michael Jackson fan. And because I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, the dancing was just instilled in me for forever, ever and ever. And I loved it, and it was great. But yeah, so I'm a salsa watcher is what I call it. But yeah, that was pretty straight to the point. There's nothing really deep about that. And then the last thing I think in my art is I'm just a cultured canvas. I think that anything that's on a canvas, I think that is worth looking at. It cultures you. People would be like, "Oh, there's a lot of things." No, I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm not talking any canvas. So anything on a plate, anything you can hear, anything you can see, some things. You could touch, feel. That's really what the art is really about, right? Is being that cultured canvas. It's really about letting you understand either what that person, that population, that region feels. It's why we have regional cuisine, right? It's things that were available to that region at the time. Now with Amazon and Goldbelly, and you can get anything anywhere now. It's just a matter of how much you want to pay. But just that culture that you're taking in from just visually seeing it, tasting it, touching it, hearing it, I think is really important. I think people that don't enjoy all art. I don't know how you couldn't, but I think those people that they don't take a second to smell the roses is a tragic way to live. When I was younger, before kids, we used to take guys trips, and unless we were sitting somewhere on a beach resort or something like that, I always made time to visit some form of museum or art. We'd go see, a glass blower. We'd go see. We've been to the Van Gogh Museum in Spain. I always take a second, at least to smell the roses. And my roses usually come in the form of art in some fashion. It's fun to plan trips around art, whether it's a museum, whether it's a restaurant you really want to go to. It's always fun to see people that oh, yeah, I see my friends. Okay, that's great. You could FaceTime them. You can't FaceTime the Van Gogh. You can't, you can't FaceTime the meal, an epic meal that you had. Be a cultured canvas. Go find your art. Go find your happy place. It's out there. I promise you. Let's see. Who else am I? I think I'm a great team player. I like being part of a team. It's not that I'm against working alone or doing things alone, because I do a lot of things alone. Go to the movies. Obviously, I live alone when Jake's working or whatever. But I'm alone a lot of the time in the car, wherever you go. But I love being part of a team. It's one of my favorite things because I like to learn about people. And so you can learn a lot about people by just being on their team, being around them, seeing how they think. So being a great team player, it's probably one of the biggest lessons I preach to my kids. You can be whatever you want. I don't care. Honestly, whatever you want to do in life, it's your choice. You want to go in the kitchen, go in the kitchen. You want to go be a doctor, be a doctor. I'll be happy as long as they're happy, as long as they are fulfilled, as long as they feel fulfilled, as long as any of those things kind of happen. I'm 100% okay with it. But they need to be a great team player. And I preach it to my son the most because he is the oldest. And so that will translate to my daughters very quickly as they start to get older. But no matter what you do in life, you got to be a great team player. So whether that's being a part of the family and being attentive, communicating, asking simple things. How was your day? What did you do? We have a thing where we sit around the table and you got to do, when they were younger, it was give me 3 things you did today. And now Esme loves to play, what's your favorite part about today? So it's transitioned as they've gotten a little bit older, but when they were young, that's what we used to do. So we used to say, give me 3 things about today. And they could be bad things, but give me 3 things about today. And we'd all go around the table and we'd say, 3 things, whether it's like, I had a great lunch shift at as Jess and I were in the restaurants. They had a great lunch shift today, or, it was great coming home to the kids, or whatever it was. It was, you gotta give 3 things. Give 3 things about today. And same with kids at school. What'd you learn today? Give me 3 things you did today. And it couldn't be answers like play. Like, yeah, no shit, you played. I hope you played. You're 4. What else did you do all day? So just substantial answers. And that is part of being the team. That's part of being a team. And so that is really what I preach. My son plays sports. And he had to learn a lesson about taking direction from someone that wasn't me or Jess. And it really... it's hard. It's not easy. Being coachable is not easy. Being open and vulnerable and essentially pointing out your weaknesses or your opportunities, depending how, what you should say, but being coachable. And that's part of being a team. That's just part of being the team. And there were so many times where We were about, I don't know, I think it was like 3-4 games in, and Logan would always go, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit soccer. And go, yeah, you quit soccer at the end of the season. Like, you signed up to be part of the team, and you're going to finish that. And you're going to be part of this team until the end of the season, because you've got people that depend on you. And as long as there's people that depend on you, you will show up to the plate. You will do what you're supposed to. And so, and he did that. I mean, he did that probably the first 3-4 years he played. And he played for a long time. I think he switched over to track this year. Doesn't love the soccer program, but he is still going to be in sports, and he's still going to be part of the team. It's fun. Being part of a team is fun. It's funny now because now he's in high school, and he'll tell me stories about the teams that he's on, right? Whether it's the soccer team that he didn't really love. People weren't really getting along, and it's kind of chaotic. Coaches were changing, all that stuff. But it's funny because he can pick up on things, and he can notice things that those people aren't great team players. At school, and just so everyone knows, I was a terrible student. I am the first person. I got horrible grades. My mom is probably turning in her grave right now because she beat my ass after I got I think it was like a 0.52 one progress report. I don't know how I graduated high school. It's honestly a miracle. So, hey, whoever's looking after me before she passed, whoever's looking after me, let me graduate high school. I did not do well in school, but it's funny because Logan now, he'll tell me stories about his teams that he's on. He'll go, bro, this girl didn't do shit. I go, yeah? Yeah, that's how it make you feel. He goes, oh, bro, I had to do this. I had to do that. And it's so funny to hear him talk about shitty teammates because I spent a very long time, probably since he was probably since he was like 10, 11, probably Charlie's age. I that's all I could talk about was being part of a team, showing up, right? Can't hit home runs if you don't get up to the plate. And you got to be part of the team, and you've got to be active, and you've got to communicate, and you've got to pick the other teammates up when they're down. And that goes with family, and that goes with friends and everything else. And so he's a big gamer. So I'm sure he's got a bunch of team games that he plays online. So it's just funny. It's funny now to hear him really talk about those teammates that he can kind of pinpoint and go, man, this teammate sucks. Like this guy is absolutely terrible. This girl is absolutely terrible. So it's funny to just hear about it now. Yeah. So it's important to be a good team player in all aspects, because doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a cook, therapist. It doesn't matter what field you go into. You're always going to have people around you. Unless you're self-employed, then you're going to probably have a boss. And even if you're self-employed, you're probably going to have a team around you. And if you are that team player, you're probably the team leader, which is even more important. So being a good team player and an active team player is definitely preached to my kids heavily. And it was to me too. So, just be active, be present, be there. Who else am I? The next one I wrote down is I am thoughtful yet forgetful. So I am. It's hard to put. It's probably because of my high ADD mindset and brain activity, but I'm very thoughtful. I care about people. I care about those around me. I care about those around me, obviously, deeply. I always want to make sure everyone's okay. But I forget a lot, and it drives people insane. If I don't write it down, high chance it's not resonating with me. I take a lot of notes now as an adult. I write down, things for me, for work, for kids, for whatever it is. I have to write them down, make a note of it. Not always great about remembering my notes, but I try my best. But yeah, I'm a very thoughtful person. If you're around me, I think that's a fair assessment. But I'm also very forgetful, and you might question. Just put it this way: my mom had me tested when I was younger, and this is absolutely a true story. But my mom had me tested for mental retardation, not once, twice. You're sitting in the booth. Yeah, I heard it. Okay. Then you ask a question, and I would go, I don't know. Right, so, yeah, after the first time, they said, no, your son's fine. And she legitimately, this is an absolute 100% true story. She took me back to the same testing center. She told the doctor or the nurse, whoever it was, she said, you tell me what's wrong with my son. You tell me what's wrong with my son. So I'm just super forgetful. If it doesn't matter to me, if it doesn't pertain to me, if it's not important to me, I will absolutely forget. So for all of my best friends that have stuck with me through my entire life, thank you. For those of you who've put up with me at work, thank you. I'm usually pretty good at work. Work's hard to forget because you're kind of working on the same thing over and over again. But in personal life, yeah, I couldn't even tell you how much I've forgotten. My mom used to like to remind me, she's forgotten what I know, in her pinky finger. That's what she'd say. I know more in my pinky finger, or I forgot more in my pinky finger than you've ever known. But my mom was very intelligent. She was a very smart lady. Aaron got that gene. I must have got the old Geisinger gene. Yeah, I like to always call Aaron a Davis, which is hilarious to me. But for those of you that aren't family or don't know me well enough, that's pretty spot on. That's pretty funny. Nailed it. I think there's a lot of things of who I am, but I was trying to just hit some of the biggest core things. And I think for the last thing that I really am, it would be a huge swing and miss if I didn't talk about just my goofiness and how much I think that just in life, the comedic relief that I am. I know that life is hard. I know that life sucks at times. But again, I've just always tried to be that. I'd always try to be that relief, that kind of sense of fun. And sometimes it's inappropriate times, and sometimes it's inappropriate fun. But overall, it's that's who I would want to be in life. I think that with life being as serious as it is, when was the last time you had a good surprise? Think about that. When in life was the last time you had a good surprise? Promotions don't count because you're working your ass off for a promotion, right? When was think to yourself, when was the last time you just had a great surprise? Whether that be someone flew in to visit you, or someone picked up your tab somewhere, whatever it is. I think that there's just so few good surprises, especially as an adult, that you need fun. You've got to have fun, and you've got to laugh. It's super important. So I definitely tend to gravitate towards fun things, comedic things that'll make you smile, things that'll make you laugh. It is October right now, so I am watching a lot of horror movies for sure every night. I'm definitely watching a scary movie or a horror movie every single night. Love horror movies. Some of them make you laugh because they're so cheesy and bad. Again, but others, God, even watching Jaws, I've seen Jaws, I don't know, 1,000 times, and because of my mindset, my heart starts beating every single time I watch it, because it's scary. It's good. We were at the beach this summer. I took the kids down south, and Esme is a little small, but I have been watching scary movies. Logan has been watching things like Jurassic Park since he was little. He used to love Jurassic Park. He used to be obsessed with dinosaurs. I met Logan when he was 2, and we used to walk around, and he would act like a raptor. And I encouraged it because I thought it was just so cute and so fun. And I still encourage them to be fun and silly and goofy. And I embarrass the shit out of them because I'm fun and goofy, and it's okay. I think it's still okay. And I think to show them that you can have fun as an adult is a very powerful tool. But I tried to show them Jaws. We were at the beach, so probably wasn't the greatest. And it probably, a lot of parents out there probably like, I can't, shut up. She made it about, I think, like maybe 40 minutes in, and it got to the point where they were getting out into the water and severed heads. She freaked out. So we didn't quite get there yet. But even I watched it. God, that may have been night 5 for me. For my October Horror Fest, and I still, to this day, I'm like, oh man, my heart races so good. And I've seen Jaws in real life. I've been to Universal. I've seen the shark, but still, my mindset goes there, and I love that. But yeah. Anyways, back to being goofy. So showing my kids the goofy side of life, showing adults for the goofy side of life. Being part of that genre. I loved Chris Farley. Just king, just crown that man. Everything he did, I thought, was genius and funny. Will Ferrell took the torch pretty well, I think, just as far as kind of goofiness went. And I think that's why as you guys listen, you'll know I'm huge into movies, love movies, wrote a movie, made no money, spent a lot of money on it, ended up broke, which is why I still go to work every day, unfortunately. But hey, the dreamer had to dream, and it's always been a part of my dream, and I checked that bad boy off. So I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it did make $0, which is unfortunate. But I think one of the most important movies that did come out as of late was Naked Gun. And I sat and watched it, and God, I laughed so hard. And you think back over the last, I don't know, we'll just say 15 years. So maybe 2010-ish, 2000, even maybe 15-ish. I'm not great with dates, but a lot of those slapstick movies just disappeared. They directors and writers, they stopped making them because they didn't make money unless it was a Marvel movie or unless it was a star-studded cast or like an Ocean's 19 or however many of those they made. I think that we lost that touch of ourselves. And Naked Gun coming back, I always say a lot of people, I think it's like 1,000 Ways to Die in the West or something like that. It was a Seth MacFarlane movie. It wasn't it was slapstickish. It wasn't that Airplane, Hot Shots. It wasn't that physical comedy all the way through. It was very. It was written very well to be a comedy, whereas Naked Gun is very visual, and the jokes are really fast. They're very immature. And I think it was huge that if you did love comedies, if you do love, slapstick movies, I thought it was super important that you went to that movie because it made money. And so now, hopefully, that entices other directors, writers, actors, whomever's out there to bring that back. Bring back Beverly Hills Ninja I mean, I remember going to the theaters and just dying. Gold member. I don't think I laughed as hard in a movie theater as I had. Granted, I was also probably like 15 or 18 or whatever. I was probably a little, out of my mind. But I think for pound for pound, minute to minute, I think that is probably one of the movies that I laugh the hardest at. I laughed really hard at 50 First Dates, mostly because it was in high school and there were like 4 or 5 guys and there were 4 or 5 girls. It was our group of friends. And we were laughing so hard at the beginning that the girls just stared at us and they were so mad, which made the movie that much better because they were just so pissed at us for having a good time. Foreshadowing. But yeah, I probably laughed the hardest at the beginning at 50 First Dates. But I think for longevity or the entire length of the movie, I can still remember walking out of Gold Member and not remembering half of the lines because we just laughed our way through it. So if you didn't go see Naked Gun in theater, shame on you. But you should still watch it and give it a stream because, like I said, I think it's pretty important to our way of the world. I think Superman, even though it's not a comedy, I think Superman came at a perfect time. Most of DC is very dark. And Superman was very light, right? It was a light-hearted superhero movie. I mean, Gunn always kills it, but he did such a good job with it, and it's exactly the movie that we needed right now in the world. But Naked Gun, in my opinion, was the movie that just absolutely knocked it out of the park. The writing. Liam Neeson, Liam Neeson. I almost said Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson was absolutely fantastic in it, and it's something for the culture. And I think it's something as far as comedies. I think we're missing that out in the world. And TV's kind of down just in general with all the streaming services. So sitcoms aren't as popular or prevalent anymore. And so comedy, I think there are comedies, and then there are things like rom-coms, or there are comedic reliefs, as I kind of describe myself, because life is not a comedy. Life is very much a drama. But for people to go out there and start writing comedies again, it fills me up with so much joy. And so look for it, stream it. I was talking about it earlier today with a friend. I think I've watched it twice. I think they just launched it or just put it on streaming last week. I think I've watched it twice. I know Jake's watched it like 4 or 5 times. It's amazing. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's immature. It's exactly what I needed as a 40-year-old male. So, yeah, I'm not sure how long this was, but I do appreciate you guys sticking around and listening. And I don't really have a great tagline yet, so I'm thinking of one. If you guys can see in the back, there's Chef Geist right there, and it says "Stay hungry, Padawans." I'll go over what I am probably on the next one, and that'll be heavily influenced by food. But I'm a nerd at heart, and so love Star Wars. Let's see if I can move out of the way here. If you see, there's a knife and a lightsaber right there. Love Star Wars again. It's got magic and sword fighting. It's like 2 of my favorite things. So I'll leave you with this. Stay hungry, Padawans. Until next time.